What's good, y'all? Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what it is. Yeah, let's do this. All right. So right now, we still in the fourth quarter. About 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go. 24-9 Chicago Bears at home. Philadelphia Eagles getting their whole entire arse kicked by the Chicago Bears. Okay. This is what's happening. I think it's clear right now. I don't know what's going to happen. We could have a situation where the Eagles, 8-4. They could turn it all around, go make a run and still do something in the playoffs. I'm to the point where I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe what has happened here is that a team has just fallen apart. Again, this is the second time in a 4 year period, okay, where after making the Super Bowl, the team has just fallen apart. Okay, it is what it is. Now, I'm going to explain what I believe happened, and it is a little bit of a "I told you so," and this is what you get here. There's a little bit of that to go along with what I think needs to be done. All right. So first off, earlier today, Malcolm Jenkins, former Philadelphia Eagle, former New Orleans Saint, who had just made it to the Eagles Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him. He said something that was very wise earlier today. He was on one of the shows, the pregame shows that we have locally here. And what he said was that it's very important, to kind of always remember to keep the main thing the main thing. Quoting something that Jalen Hurts always says, always something that he says, keep the main thing the main thing. And that winning in the NFL is not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult to do. And that when you're a winner, you're a winning team, you have winning ways, that shouldn't be taken for granted. And that when you begin to focus on things about how dominant you are, not the fact that you're winning, but how dominant you are, about how beautiful your offense looks, by how easy it is for you to go up and down the field, all of those things, every last one of them, are what you call are distractions from what's important. Because if the Philadelphia Eagles would have won this game today and won last week's game today by 2 points or 3 points or whatever, you know what? You would be 10-1 or 10-2, and all of that stuff you think matters really wouldn't matter. But you know what's mattering to y'all now is coming into fruition. Let me explain something to you about. Oh yeah, matter of fact, with Malcolm Jenkins called, he said the way we are now, we're a fan base of privilege right now. When you start not worrying about winning and losing, and your focus is now on just how your win looks, right? You're now you're people you're privilege. That's what you are. That's what that's called. That's privilege. Okay? Because there's plenty of teams out here that can't win, right? And us as a fan base, we should know what that's like because for years we were a team that wasn't winning. And we would accept it being 4-0. But now, we're a type of fan base now. We could be 4-5-0 and we bitching about whether or not we blew a team out. You beat the Rams, who right now sitting pretty, probably gonna win the who gonna win the East. You had beat the daggone Chiefs, who are the multi-time champions. You had beat the all types of teams, whatever. We ain't going through that. Okay, sitting pretty, only 4-0 team complaining and bitching. Got a wide receiver complaining and bitching, and then a fan base full of people that are saying that guy is right. Let me explain to you how that guy was wrong. Listen, the Philadelphia Eagles were 4-0. All right, only last 4-0 team in the league. All right, had beat top teams, all of that. Okay, and you got a whole season left to go to kind of get things right because the goal every year is to make sure going into the playoffs that you're playing your best football. That's pretty much what you need. That's pretty much the goal. And this is what you had at the time. Just looking at this here, him missing Saquon in the end zone. All right, could have got it to 17. Whatever. Right now, I don't even care too much about this game. This game is over with to me. Whatever happens, AJ Brown was wrong and is responsible for this. Why? Because instead of enhancing the team, what he was bringing, what he was a force of negativity. All right, and when you have negativity like that, that's bad energy. All right, so you got a 4-0 team, a team that should be proud of being 4-0 and where they are. A situation where look, people gonna be getting money, right? Owner happy, getting money out, right? Primed to actually do something. But no, we got people bitching about this, and that. So now what happens is you go from a team that would kick, claw, scratch, never give up, fight, just believe, to a team that started to believe that they were bad. Okay? 8-1 record, 8-2 record, whatever it was we were just a minute ago, right? Just when we finished beating Detroit. Remember this: when we had beat Detroit and Minnesota and Green Bay, I'm sorry, we had one loss or two losses, whatever it was. Okay, we were number one in our conference. Okay, before last week and this week, but we were a team that started to actually listen to guys like AJ Brown, started to relent to him instead of disciplining his ass by sitting him a half a game or whatever. But no, we started listening to him. And you had a team that's number one believing that they're bad. Do you understand what that is? When you believe that you're bad and you keep saying, instead of being happy about where you were and being happy about that you find ways to win, which is Jalen Hurts' message. Hey, we find ways to win. We find ways to win. We went from that messaging to, oh my God, this offense is so bad. We got to get this offense going. We're so bad. Sounding like a bunch of little bitches. Okay, so now you went to that. You know what happened? That's called you manifested what you are now. Because now this team really sucks. The team that lost to Denver, or the team that was beating the Rams, even if it was by a block field goal, whatever, that team didn't suck. No, they didn't. That team believed they can win any way necessary. This team today sucks. There's a difference. Okay, because now, not only is it not pretty and all of that stuff that everybody talks about, but now they don't even believe in themselves. That's what you got now. That's what you got now. So, since you got a team that doesn't believe itself, we need to believe in itself, and that's probably not going to do anything for the rest of the year. They might just lose every game. I don't know. Since you got that, what must be done now for the future? I think number one, the force of negativity, the one who manifested this idea that this team really stinks, who called it a shit show when the team only had 2 losses, when the team was number one. You had a man call it a shit show. That guy has to go. AJ Brown has to go. Period. Because I'm giving up on whether or not he'll change the way he thinks, his perception and all of that. See, I'm a big energy guy. I'm big on belief and energy and stuff like that. And this guy has been a cancer that has affected the team. There's no doubt about it. His ways, his thinking, all of that, focusing on how things look, how many numbers he has, his catches, and all of that shit over whether or not we're winning games, that got to go. We need pure leadership, and the leadership has to be the direction of the quarterback. Unless you're talking about changing the quarterback, that has to be the leader, and that has to be the messaging. Nick Sirianni. Okay, listen. I'm going to first explain what I like about Nick. Okay. What I do like about Nick is the fact that he is good with the messaging. Okay, as far as, because that was his thing. He was talking the same things Jalen Hurts was talking. The main thing. Find ways to win. You know, be tough, protect the ball. All of those things. The messaging that we know that the Eagles pretty much were putting out there. Okay. However, he had a malcontent in his offense or malcontent in the building that I don't think he properly dealt with. And because he didn't properly deal with this malcontent, it became a cancer that's now starting to lead to losses. Okay? Let's remember the most impressive victory this team had, and I don't care about who the opponent is. At this point, it does not matter who the opponent is. One of the best days of this offense was when that malcontent's ass was not there, and that's the game against the Giants. Okay? That was the best game we saw for this offense. That guy has to go, and his coach, in my opinion, it's nothing personal. It's not that I don't like him, but the problem is he did not properly address the malcontent. He didn't fix the problem. He wasn't willing to possibly risk a game or two, or a game or half of a game or whatever by disciplining this guy. And you see what we have. He also, and the real reason is, it's clear. Nick Sirianni, as a coach, when it comes to game day stuff, is only as good as his coordinators. Now, anyone could look at this game and see the difference between the guy that the Bears have and the guy that we have. Anyone who looks at this game can see the difference between Kevin Patullo, the guy we have, and the guy the Bears have. And before any of you come on here with this stupid Elliott Shore Parks talk or this Ike Spike Eskin talk or any of these guys, and if you don't know them, these are local idiots who are Jalen Hurts haters who come with this idea that this is really Jalen Hurts' offense and it looks the way he wants it to look and all of that. Listen, man, y'all can just y'all know what y'all can do for real. Y'all can go kick rocks. Okay? The truth of the matter is, the coaches and the coaching staff are the ones who draw up these plays. And I'm telling you right now, the way Jalen Hurts is, he will take winning over any of this. Okay? So, miss me with that crap. And then number two, it's an illogical argument to act as if it's more on the player than on a first-year play caller whose plays are clearly inferior to the guys you're seeing. Let me give you Kyle Shanahan, for example. Kyle Shanahan is a guy that you know is a good play caller. Number one, by the fact that you could just see with your eyes that he fools defenses, he has misdirection, he has a number of different elements to his offense that indicates that he's a good play caller. But the other reason is, I've seen him plug 3 different quarterbacks in that offense, and I've seen them still be productive. Kyle Shanahan has put Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, in that offense, who's a guy that, for all intents and purposes, really doesn't do much outside of that. Hasn't done much outside of that. I mean, he had a couple of games that he won with the Patriots, but we know he's nothing special. Kyle Shanahan was able to get to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo in the same offense. He went and got a 7th round pick, literally the last player picked in the draft named Brock Purdy, put him in that offense, and was able to get to a Super Bowl with that guy. And then now he has a quarterback controversy now because he's able to take Mac Jones, okay, who I believe was a late 1st round pick, right, by the Patriots or whatever, put him in that offense, and they're still able to win some games. Don't know if they'll get to the Super Bowl, but they were able to win some games. That there is a good offensive coordinator. Kevin Patullo is not good. Anyone who tries to argue that he is, or that he has some plays out here that he would be good if he just had a different quarterback, is an idiot. And you have no basis for what you're saying other than just a hate for Jalen Hurts as a player. And miss me with that, okay? Nick Sirianni is only as good as his coordinators. This is what we saw. His first year, when he tried to call plays, he sucked. Eagles were like 2-6. He switches over to another coordinator. Somehow we're able to get to the playoffs. Okay, when he goes to Steichen. The next year, Nick Sirianni is not calling any plays. Steichen is calling plays. We get to the Super Bowl. The year after, when we have Brian Johnson, we have a combination of Brian Johnson, a guy that Nick Sirianni did not respect properly. We had a lot of meddling on the part of Nick Sirianni, which caused a rift between him and the quarterback. The quarterback who knows he's an idiot for a number of reasons. Some of you are too stupid to see this, and I don't know what your problem is. Okay, Jalen Hurts. Let me tell you how you know Nick Sirianni is not it. Jalen Hurts literally had a problem with Wink Martindale and his defense. For those who don't know, that was the defensive coordinator of the New York Giants back in 2023. Okay? He had a problem with his defense. He had to call Wink Martindale during the offseason to get the answers to how to beat his defense. What does that tell you? That tells you that nobody in the Eagles organization could give him the answers. He couldn't find the answers to how to beat that defense in the building. That means Brian Johnson didn't have the answers. That means Nick Sirianni didn't have the answers, which is egregious. For me, that would be enough to fire you. That the quarterback has to, on his own, pick up the phone and call to get an answer outside the building. That is egregious. That is enough, honestly, to let you know Nick Sirianni, nice guy, he did good. But for me, he will be getting his walking papers. This is the second year. After a Super Bowl run, the team just started to fall apart. Right now, maybe they won't, but it's looking like that's what's going to happen. This is a 2-game losing streak. And I don't see it getting better in a way that's meaningful, because now the schedule gets easy. So if you go and you win the rest of these games, what does that mean? You beat the Commanders twice, big deal. You beat the Raiders. None of these games are going to mean anything, okay? None of these games are going to mean anything. So, whatever. We'll probably make the playoffs. I don't know, okay? For me right now, what has to happen is A.J. Brown, the malcontent, has to go. But along with that, you're going to have to replace him. So you're going to have to get a good wide receiver there, at least one that's good to great, in order to replace him in any type of way. And then I think, for me, it would be a coaching change, and I would specifically target a great play caller, similar to what the Bears did. You see, because what the Bears did is they built themselves a team right now. They haven't done anything yet. They're still early in their development. But what the Bears have, if it works, is something that is sustainable. Something that's sustainable. Unlike what the Eagles have. Something that, because this is what happens in the NFL. You have an offensive coordinator who helps you get to the Super Bowl and gives you a successful season, and now teams want to hire him to be their head coach, and this is what has happened to us. And this is something that we'll kind of deal with pretty much every year with Nick Sirianni, as long as the Eagles have success. And for me, it's unacceptable. So that's all I got, man. I'll get with you people later. Peace out.